Hi, I am Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and this is Shifting Perspectives. I was going over some questions this morning, and one that really hit me was, can you control the situation? And it was such a powerful question that really leads us to a lot of exploration. So I really want to delve into this particular question. And when I came up with this, I also realized that I kind of want to change the way Shifting Perspectives does things just a little bit. Whenever you have a business, there's a lot of tweaking that goes on, a lot of tweaking, especially at first. And then once you get it right down to where you want it, you just keep fine tuning the knobs until you reach your authenticity. And when you start a business, you think you have to conform to the business. And really that's the whole goal of business building is you're actually conforming the business to your identity. But if you don't know who you are, it's going to be a very long road to get there if you get there at all, which is why most businesses fail, is because people do not understand that a business is run on your identity. And if you have not done the work to build and encourage your identity, you are not going to go anywhere. You're going to end up with a lot of failed businesses as a result. So, a successful business owner, a successful entrepreneur is one who has basically done the identity work and has basically brought in 50% of what builds and creates their corporation, which is their identity. And when that identity is plugged into the business falls into place. So, there's a lot of tweaking along the road. That being said, and yes, I have a whole thing on how you can actually use your identity to make money, but that's much later down the road. It's not what I want to focus on right now in my life. So I realized that presenting a question like, can you control the situation is, first of all, it's very philosophical to present a question and then just to pull it apart for an hour. So we're going to do that. But what I realized when I was tweaking this is that what I'm doing here is I had this massive epiphany. I blame the supermoon. It was the last 2 days of just a lot of things with my identity and myself just coming in. It was like I did a whole okay roll call. Is everyone here? And I was missing two people, and two people of my identity stepped forward and said, "You forgot me." And I went, "Oh, well, that explains everything." So I brought in my identity. I reconnected with myself, and I undivorced me, and I found my theater and my love for theater. So I launched something new this morning. Actually, I did an introduction, but I did it yesterday, referred to as the subconscious dialogues, where I basically improv on stage. All the world is a stage. Thank you, Shakespeare. Basically, what the subconscious mind does and how it looks. And I condense it down to target, well, ADHD 15-year-olds, because that's my daughter. That's who I target. And if I can communicate what I do with her and with my son and with my children, then I can get through to anybody, which is my goal. It's literally a tweak on my communication systems so I can reach the people who I really want to reach. So, that being said, I have now a new podcast that I just launched referred to as the Subconscious Dialogues. So much fun. And I cannot promise you fantastic theatrical skills from me, but what I can promise you is something. Maybe I'll bring puppets in and maybe I'll do puppets. That would be really awesome if I had sock puppets. Sock puppets. All right. So that, like I said, I found my identity. So it's like I have a little piece of me that just got plugged in and now I'm a little different because, well, I found more of my identity. So one of the things that I also did yesterday, which was a big thing, was realizing that I was having a communication problem between me and my people. And part of that communication problem is I talk a lot as if I'm conversing with someone with 3 PhDs in psychology, and that's a problem for when you want to talk to a 15-year-old with ADHD. So I realized that I just need to completely revamp how I do things, and I stepped back and I analyzed what it is I actually do, which has been very difficult for me to pinpoint because you're so busy bringing in your identity and you're just following whims and gut feelings that you really don't think about what it is you really do, which is also another part of business building. And I realized that what I have made is basically a simple triadic healing garden with 3 focuses, and that we have life titans And when you have these three life titans, I talked about those yesterday, your identity, your conscious awareness, and your subconscious mind, that now when I present content to you through the Healing Garden, I can go, oh, I'm doing conscious awareness right now. Or I'll do the subconscious dialogues and I'll go, I'm doing identity right now and I'm doing subconscious dialogues. Do it with me. Do it with me. And that's pretty much all I do at the Healing Garden is I toggle between these 3 points, these 3 pillars. I balance it all out. I have Facebook feeds that go out constantly telling people, hey, what do you love? Talk to me about what you're grateful for. What are your dreams? What are your wishes? And what I'm doing is I'm activating their identity. I'm getting them to think about their identity. And I'm putting more podcasts out there and I'm doing more podcasts out there, more video screens, more webinars. And I'm trying to, and I realized all I'm doing is trying to raise their conscious awareness, raise your conscious awareness. And I'm going, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm building these 3 pillars. Now, my third problem is the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is complex, really complex. So complex that it has taken us thousands of years to figure it out. Holy shit. And that's what I realized is we don't know. We don't know. We haven't known. Now, I stumbled, quite on purpose. I stumbled all over the place for 30 years, the subconscious mind and how to figure it out. And I figured out something that works for me, that works fantastic for me. And it might work for you. So this is me building the garden to say, hey, I found something. I really want you to try it. See if it works, because it worked for me. And when I started handing it to people, I did see it changing them. I did see it working for them. And I went, son of a bitch. So now I got this really awesome thing and I got to name it and I got to call it my own thing. And I got to put a brand on it and I got to figure out how to market it. And that's what the Healing Garden is. It's taking my 29 or 28 years of life work and throwing it all out there and putting it into something that makes sense. Because for 28 years, I've had papers all over my bedroom. Literally. I had a lot of papers all over my bedroom all the time as a child because I was taking notes. And I've kept every one of my papers, every one of them. I have boxes in storage of all of these papers that I accumulated over 28 years of psychological philosophical research. So, welcome to the abstract mind. It is quite a place. The subconscious mind is just abstract. And I remembered, I loved the movie Inside Out. Oh my God, I love the movie Inside Out. They did such a great job with the subconscious mind. There were a few things where I went, oh, that's not how it is for me. This is what I would change. And this part they got right, this part they got right. That part's completely off and it needs to be completely removed. But my favorite room is abstract thought. I love abstract thought and analytical thinking and breaking things down into comprehension. And by the way, as psychological as this is actually a branch of philosophy. But we're not taught philosophy anymore. So a lot of people don't understand that 50% of the stuff that we use in psychology is actually borrowed from very heavily from philosophy, like ethics and morals. There's like an entire branch of philosophy where all we talk about is ethics and morals, right and wrong. Why? I loved that part of philosophy. And then we step over into psychology and we're talking about ethics and morals. And then you downgrade it to the world of politics. And that's really all they're talking about is ethics and morals. But most of those people have not studied philosophy. But boy, do they have opinions about ethics and morals. It's just the way the world works is. So I have these 3 pillars. And I'm going, all right. I've got my message. I've got my mission. I've got my message. I've got my goal. Now I can bring it all together. So hi, I am Anna Imagination of the Healing Garden. This is one of my 2 podcasts, Shifting Perspectives. I'm going to call July 4th of 2023, day 1. I'm going to say that everything prior to this day was preliminary, was practice. We opened our doors. We were kind of in business, but I had training wheels. So I rebranded 30 times. And I took the group in a lot of different directions, sometimes without much explanation. I was trying to figure out me. Well, now that my identity is here, now that everybody who needs to be present is all accounted for, now I can get to work. So now I want to present to you the healing garden, what exactly I do with each one of my elements, and everything that I have, my website, my podcasts, my YouTube channel, my Facebook accounts, plural, are all designed to target a very particular pillar of my triadic healing program. Triadic healing is based off of a philosophical concept I invented because of 9/11. It is called the Rorschach perspective. 9/11 was really difficult for me. To be blunt, I was raped on 9/11. And it really messed up with my mind on a level that I have yet to find peers. The amount of complex garbage in my brain at that time shifted because of 9/11. It was 3 months. It was after that happened that 3 months later, I finally figured out something, which I would later call the Rorschach print perspective. And that perspective literally took my mind from Stockholm syndrome over to psychologically free. And I was able to instantly break his hold on me. It ended the psychological entrapment and the Stockholm syndrome instantly. And I went, son of a fucking bitch. I had Stockholm syndrome and I was able to overcome it, execute it, locate the exact belief that I needed, remove that belief, and I felt my perspective shift and instantly it was gone. That's the Rorschach print perspective. And I went, I'm on to something. And it would take me another 20 years to sort it out. And I did. Now we're at triadic healing. And triadic healing is based off of the preliminary work I did in 2001, when I finally was able to alter the Rorschach print perspective, which completely shifted my beliefs, my perspective, my cognitive core, everything. So now that I'm here and I'm putting together the healing garden, I realized that there are 3 parts to that, and that's your identity, your conscious awareness, and your subconscious mind. So I take turns rotating through each of one of these things. During Facebook in the morning, I'm going, all right, let's waken up your identity. Let's get you in touch with your identity. Let's get this done. What do you love? What do you dream? What do you wish? What are you grateful for? What do you want? Find that gimme inside of you. Find that little piece of you inside of you. Dig it out and find it. That's who you are. And that's part of the problem, is yourself has been forced to divorce your identity. Get it back. Get it back. The conscious awareness is the other part of this equation, which brings us to shifting perspectives. Can you control the situation? Conscious awareness is actually the goal of shifting perspectives. That's what we're doing here. I'm raising your conscious awareness by showing you how I see the world, by showing you my perspective. I can show you a different way to live because I'm showing you how I view the world in my perspective. And I found a different way to live. And oh my God, is it so much fun? It is so much better than anything I'd ever had before. Really true, authentic happiness. It's beautiful. And it requires a certain mindset, a certain perspective. But you can't get that perspective and that mindset without doing the work I did. So that's really what I'm doing here. Leading by example. I am stepping up into the world, showing you, look at how happy I am. And I really, truly am happy. And I shouldn't be. According to every psychologist that I've spoken to, I should be dead because of the amount of trauma I went through. And yet, here I am. So I'm going, if I'm here and not dead, either, well, I should be dead, or they have a misleading belief. And so I looked into that and I found their misleading belief that told them I shouldn't be cured, I shouldn't be healed. I found their misleading belief. The misleading belief that I found is that, quote, mental illnesses can't be cured. Oh, yes, they can. I did it. And every therapist I've spoken to, every person I've spoken to has said the same thing to me. You can't cure mental illness. Who says? Why not? I looked up the definition of cure because I was thinking, is there a scientific medical term that's out there that's confusing everything, that's altering things? Like, where does this concept come from? So I look into it, and there is very much this belief that mental illnesses can't be cured. Now, I will tell you where this comes from. It's a hunch. It's a hunch. But I will tell you where this comes from. This comes from early 17th century insane asylums. And yeah, back in that day, mental illnesses could not be cured. And that became like the thing to say. You have this person who's just psychotically insane. And it's funny because where I'm standing with my perspective in philosophy and psychology, I'm looking back at those people in those mental asylums with the screaming and the torture and the rapes. And I'm looking at them going, I know what psychological disorders they all had. Holy fucking shit. I know how far into dissociation and pain and suffering they all were. Holy shit. Do we see that today? No, we don't see that today. We see something that's far more manageable. What we see today is a lot of people who have learned how to keep their mental illnesses undercover from even themselves. So that unless you're diagnosed, you don't know there's anything wrong. You think there's nothing wrong because you're not diagnosed. Well, if you're standing there going, I refuse to go to therapy, you're not going to be diagnosed. Family, how that works. So instead, you're sitting here, chilling out through life, hiding your mental disorders, even from yourself. The subconscious mind is really good at that. And you manage to get yourself through life. Now, this is something that was not possible 200 years ago. 200 years ago, if you had a mental illness, everybody knew it. If you had a mental illness 200 years ago, you were targeted, which tells me two things. The first thing is we've gotten healthier. Mentally, we have gotten healthier in the last 200 years. B, our subconscious minds have gotten smarter at disguising this shit. There it is. Which is it? Have we gotten smarter? Or has the subconscious mind gotten more clever and crafty? Because we're no longer rocking back and forth in complete level 5 stages of dissociation. Now we're kind of like here as a society with our mental illness. We're riding under the radar and we're hiding it from everybody. Different perspective. Now, mental illnesses can be cured. Once you understand where a mental illness comes from, and I do, once you understand what causes a mental illness, and I'm not talking about the physical, I'm not talking about breaking down the brain chemicals that are in your brain that happen during trauma that rewires your nervous system. I am not talking about that. And I am not talking about the half-assed answer, oh, well, trauma causes mental illness. Really? Really? Psychology does that a lot, and it really pisses me off. They present you with a half-assed answer, and then they say it's good enough, and they don't look any deeper. I wanted to know where pain comes from. And I asked therapist and psychologist after therapist and psychologist, and I Googled it, and I researched it, and I read NIM articles and NIM abstracts, and everyone kept saying the same stupid thing. Pain comes from the amygdala. But why? Where does pain come from? Well, pain, and no one could answer. Until I discovered cognitive dissonance. And I went, cognitive dissonance. What is pain? What is pain? Pain is discomfort. That's it. Pain is just discomfort. I had to pull my own body. I was laying on one of those prickly mats. I don't know why we do that. And I laid on it, or I was standing on it, and I was noticing that it was uncomfortable. And I shifted, and then it moved to pain. And I went, oh, discomfort. When you have too much discomfort, it becomes pain. And this is physical. What does that do to the brain? What's inside the brain? And yeah, the pain has its own things. And this is where I started to realize that inside our minds, we have emotions that are uncomfortable. We have vibes and energy that makes us uncomfortable. We meet some creepy dude on the street and we're going to be like, you make me uncomfortable. Now, what if we ignore that discomfort? What happens then? It evolves. It gets louder. It gets louder until discomfort becomes pain. So pain is just mental discomfort. Now I could figure out where that comes from. Now I could sit down and analyze it. And that's when I realized we have a cognitive core. That is where the cognitive core does. It is basically a processing center in our brain that takes data, takes information, weighs that information into our ethics and our love and our identity, decides that this is a valid bit of data, then decides to process it into a belief into our system, and that shifts our perspective accordingly. And while this happens, emotions are flaring off left and right from the subconscious mind, little emotions, telling us what we feel, what's going on, how the processing is going. We get this every time someone gives us some new information, every time we read something on the internet, every time we hear something gossipy, anything. Information comes into us, and the first thing we do is we step back and we go, oh, that's bullshit. Or, really? Or, oh my God, are you serious? And all of those things are your responses, your emotional responses to receiving new data that's to be converted into beliefs. That is, bum, 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 the negotiation stage of processing your cognitive core. That's what it looks like. When you first get that information and you deny it, debate it, argue it, or negotiate it, you're testing it to see if it's valid. Once you confirm that it's valid, it goes into the system as a belief, and everything else falls into place. You have to go through the 12 stages of processing. And every one of those stages introduces a new small emotion that comes up. Now you get a valid, solid belief. Okay. Let's talk about global warming. I say to you that the polar ice caps are melting, and that news just in, Manhattan is literally sinking, and we have an ozone layer that's in the middle of our ocean. How many of you are feeling worry right now and fear? Because I'm giving you data that's putting it to the front of your cognitive core, that's making you feel uncomfortable because you're worried about the future of the planet. And you should be. And if you're not, well, I'm not talking to you, am I? So that being said, that's the discomfort. That's the feeling. That's the unsettled. That's the upset. That emotion, oh, very much pushes you to a different level. Now you can just sit on that level 1 concern, or it can grow to level 10 panic and fear. And it's a range. How severe that range goes tells you the amount of damage being done to your system. So if it's a level 1, level 2 emotion, okay, that's uncomfortable. Let's put it through here. It's not going to motivate me to help the planet. It's just going to make me feel bad about the planet. I'm going to make sure I recycle. And that's about it. Now, level 10. Level 10. Now, level 10. You get full fear, panic. You start doing research. You join PETA. You start fighting for the planet at all costs. That's level 10. That's a trauma response. That's a trauma response. Your system has to be aligned. And if you're getting an emotion that's drastic, it's going to cause you a lot of pain. It's going to cause you level 10 pain, not discomfort anymore, pain. And it's going to shift your perspective so that you do something. That's called a motivator emotion, when it makes you do something. And if it makes you do something, it's because it's fear-based, which means it's not you at all. Now we're not even talking to your identity anymore. Now we're talking to your subconscious mind. It's your subconscious mind who's running the show now. Well, the subconscious mind always runs the show. But that's what the subconscious mind is doing. It's now computating all this stuff on fear. We got to do, we got to act now, we got to go, go, go. Trauma based. Every emotion, every bit of information that we receive goes through this process. And those emotions are just messages from our subconscious core, for our subconscious mind, sending all of that stuff back to our conscious awareness. Now, our conscious awareness receives all of this data. And this is where I really admire the conscious awareness. Oh, yeah, the conscious awareness, I think, is my favorite part of all three of us because, dude, the conscious awareness has something that the other two don't have. The identity flies and dances off of intuition. The identity is solely made up of intuition. It has to feel good. It has to feel right. The subconscious mind does not run off of an emotion. It runs off of a goal, a very cold, calculated, basic goal. It has one agenda, and that is keep the identity safe. It is literally just a safety agenda. That's all the subconscious mind is. And it is on autopilot. It doesn't think. It's on autopilot. The subconscious mind is constantly processing information to keep you safe. It's all it cares about is keeping the identity safe. Prioritize the identity. Operation preserve identity. That is all the subconscious mind does. It is autopilot, which is why it's so stupid. It really is stupid. Now enter conscious awareness. Remember, the question is, can you control the situation? Conscious awareness. I am talking to you right now. Your sole goal is to collect data for the subconscious mind. That's all you do. You use your eyes, you use your taste, your five senses, and you just bring in data. You are bringing in data right now. By sitting here listening to me, you are accumulating data. And you are taking that data and you are handing it on over to your subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind is busy away plugging everything into work. So everything I say to you, I know is now conscious awareness. Which means if I can choose the exact right words to say to you, to explain to you, hey, this is what's happening to your subconscious mind right now. Your identity has been taken away from you. Are you listening? Now I can say to you something like, your mental illness can be cured because you have something that your subconscious mind doesn't have. It's called logic and deductive reasoning. You can outsmart your subconscious mind. I know how to do it. I have designed an entire garden around nothing but training you on how to outsmart your subconscious mind. Because the subconscious mind is on autopilot and your identity only runs off of intuition. The conscious awareness runs off of intelligence, off of your prefrontal cortex, the smart part. The identity runs off of the intuition, but the subconscious mind activates the amygdala. Follow me. The subconscious mind plays with the amygdala all day long. You know what I learned when I was a child? I learned that if you are logically thinking, your amygdala can't function. Logic literally gets rid of emotion. Now, you don't want to get rid of emotion, but it does put you in the driver's seat. Right now, it's just you versus your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is stupid. Your subconscious mind is on autopilot. You are not. You have conscious awareness. So you have the ability to comprehend and raise your awareness so that you can understand something as simple as the working mind machine, the subconscious mind. It's just a machine. And I figured out how to build it, tear it down, restructure it, alter it, tighten its hinges. I'm the engineer. I figured it out. So if I give this information to you, if I present this information to you and say, here, I figured out how to work the subconscious mind. Here you go. What are you going to do with it? The whole, well, I can't control the situation. Why not? One day, I will. So I ask, why not? Why not? If the subconscious mind is just an auto safety feature, and if its only agenda is to keep you safe, and you are presented with all the knowledge and information you need to tear down your subconscious and rebuild it, why can't you control the situation? You're logical. You're intelligent. You can be taught. You can learn. Why can't you control the situation? What exactly is out of your hands? You can't control people? Well, why would you want to control people? Controlling people is not a goal. That is not something you should be trying to do. People are free, thank fucking God. Or they should be. They really should be. So why would you want to try and control other people? I'll tell you why. Because when you try to control other people, you're actually afraid. You're actually running off of your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is going on autopilot. Hey, if we can control this person, we'll be safe. I told you the subconscious mind is really stupid. Okay? You're going to hear me say that a lot. So once you understand what the subconscious mind is doing, thinking, saying, functioning, you, the conscious awareness, can step back and go, wait. That's just the subconscious mind being stupid. So when I think things like, oh, I wish my partner would do X. He's frustrating me because I wish he would do X and I can't control him. Hold on a minute. Pause. Conscious awareness stepping in. Subconscious mind. Do we need to talk about what you're afraid of? No. Didn't think so. See, now you are taking back your authority and establishing yourself in your entire system as a captain of your life ship. I talk a lot in ship metaphors. A lot. Logic trumps automated fear system any day. Being mindful is a huge step in that direction. Being mindful is, we walk around in our society and our culture going, mindful. And I'm going, let's talk about the subconscious mind, because the way I see the world is literally my subconscious mind interacting with your subconscious mind. My subconscious mind interacting with my friends and my family and my partner and my children. The subconscious mind interacting with clients and coworkers and colleagues and people of repute. It's just a bunch of subconscious minds bouncing off of each other. The problem is the subconscious mind is stupid and is on autopilot. Now, you have Buddhism as a philosophy that embraces pausing and waiting and slowing down. This is actually a kind of conscious awareness where you're saying, maybe you shouldn't be too hasty, because the subconscious mind is so on the ready to react. And that's the problem. Subconscious minds don't pause, they don't think, they respond because they are a fear system, because they are trying to keep you safe. And I know every bullshit that the subconscious mind has pulled. I had to master the subconscious mind bullshit to break it down. And when you learn the subconscious mind's bullshit, you start to see your bullshit and you start to see everyone else's bullshit. And you go, wow, we're all just walking around bullshitting each other. The conversation I had with my partner a few days ago that completely shifted everything was, I don't need you to be available. I don't need you to be here. I don't need you to be present. I don't need to need you. I don't need to want you. I just need it real. I need it real. And for me, being real means I want to talk to your identity, not your subconscious mind. I want to talk to who you are, what you want, what you desire, what your goals are, what your dreams are. Everything else is bullshit. Your subconscious mind, if it has something to say, then it actually is just acting out of fear. The only time the subconscious mind is silent is when there's no fear. The subconscious mind should not be present, should not be visible. And the only time it is when it's afraid. And I see a lot of very visible subconscious minds walking around. That's the problem. Identities and conscious awarenesses need to be in control. The conscious awareness, the logical mindfulness, saying, I understand that my subconscious mind is trying to keep me safe, but logically, there is no danger. And there's a difference. So while the identity is saying, I love him and I want to be with him, the subconscious mind is going, it's a relationship, there's danger. And the conscious mind is torn between the two. Because the identity wants him and loves him. And the subconscious mind has called red alert because of a relationship. Now, the conscious awareness can do two things. It can be blind, be ignorant, not step up, and curl itself into the corner, suck its thumb, and rock, which is what most of us are doing. Or there's a different way to live. You can look at your subconscious mind and say, I call bullshit. And then you look at the identity and go, you do love him. And he loves you. And that's all that matters. And then you look back at the subconscious mind and you say, dude, you got issues and we need to talk, but shut the fuck up. And now the conscious awareness is stepping into its role as captain and saying, I'm in charge. Not you, subconscious mind. We have work to do. Lots of work to do. But this is about me and identity. And identity needs to step up into her role and say, I want this man in my life because I love him to pieces. And there's a whole lot of noise out there from other people's subconscious minds screaming, red alert, red alert, red alert. And it's like, oh my God. I'm at a point where whenever I call my friends, well, I stopped doing this because all I heard was their subconscious mind yelling at me. Oh my God, this is a red flag. Oh my God. And I'm like, oh, my experience with this man is triggering your subconscious fear problems. What the fuck? I'm going to say that again because that's the problem. My issue or my event or my situation is triggering your subconsciousness. That's the problem. So I stopped calling up friends and asking them for advice because they just threw their subconscious minds at me. And instead of me getting solutions to my problems and obstacles, I was getting a whole lot of subconscious fear problems with their own mommy-daddy issues and their own relationships with love. And I went, yeah, I'm all done getting bombarded by other people's subconscious minds. I'm just going to solve my own problems logically with my conscious awareness. Thank you. Which is why I don't have friends. Really, this is why I don't have friends, is because I have yet to figure out why we need friendships. I don't understand it. But that might be my trauma talking. So, still looking into that. So, yeah, can you control the situation? For me, I feel like the question really is, can you be logical and outsmart your subconscious mind? Can you? Well, for me, the answer is very clearly yes. It's easy once you know how the idiot works. Idiot, I really shouldn't call it names, but it really is stupid. So instead of hiding from our subconscious mind, instead of calling it this great unknown and us pretending it doesn't exist, let's keep it real. Let's really keep it real. The subconscious mind is not imaginative. The subconscious mind is not this deep, dark, scary thing. We really need to shed some light on what the subconscious mind is, which is why I have now the subconscious dialogues on my theatrical stage, waiting for me to take up the mic and do a whole monologue on what the subconscious mind is. And I really don't know how yet to begin that, because I guess I could speak in the first person as if I was the subconscious mind. That'd be an interesting perspective. And I have the skill to shift into that perspective. That would be very interesting. Yeah, I think I'll do that. That feels right. Intuition. This is me consulting with my intuition. That's what's happening right now. My conscious awareness is thinking logically at the problem and the solution while I'm conversing with my intuition, my identity, saying, so how does that feel to you? Because it has to be authentic. She's the one who has to tell us where to go. So now identity is standing here and she's going, it feels good. I'll be able to be who I am, completely step into my personality and allow myself to be the actress that I have been wanting to be all my life. And I will also be able to demonstrate my ability to shift perspectives from the identity to the conscious awareness. And with the conscious awareness, you'll be able to step into the subconscious mind and actually speak from first person point of view and show you, so this is my agenda. This is how I work. This is what I do. And this is what I want. And this is how I get what I want. Because the only thing I care about is keep the identity safe. Yes, it all checks out. So thank you for joining me for Shifting Perspectives. I haven't decided a routine yet or a schedule for everything I do is whimsical. I post podcasts every day, multiple podcasts every day, because it's how I manage and maintain my mental health. And over on my Facebook group, if you head on over there, it is basically a daily accumulation of nurturing your identity, helping you reach in and pull that out. All of the podcasts are focused on the conscious awareness, and my store online focuses on my subconscious mind. That's where things get sticky, and now we start doing the real work. So this is Triadic Healing. And my YouTube channel, you get a good look into conscious awareness. Over at the Facebook account, you see my identity and intuition nurturing courses and assignments. And then over in my website for that catalog, you get courses that you can choose to help you manage, maintain, and understand your subconscious mind. So thank you so much for joining me. This has been Healing Garden, and I will see you later. May the kindest of words always find you, and subscribe to my newsletter.